So, this is Book of Hours, and it's a game I dearly love. It's a sequel-ish thing to the game Cultist Simulator by Weather Factory. And Cultist Simulator is a game that I have had a lot of fun with. But it's very different from Book of Hours. Cultist Simulator is a very stressful game in a lot of ways. The entire point of the game is that as a game in which you are striving for immortality, your mortality comes in the form of many different timers counting down until you die. And it's basically a time management game where you buy time for yourself to live and pursue immortality, and if you let your focus drift a bit, you can easily find yourself in a terrible situation or dead. Book of Hours is very different. We're basically already immortal in Book of Hours, or at least very close to it. In this game, you are the librarian of Hush House, which is a secret library of forbidden knowledge. We'll learn more about what's going on in this setting as we go on. I'm not going to give a full lore dump right now. But just know that there's basically no actual... I don't want to say challenge, because there's definitely challenge, but there's no urgency in this game. You can take all the time you need. It's a lot like something like Stardew or Animal Crossing, where it's about doing things at your own pace and figuring out what you're up to. What you even want to do. So, without further ado, let's begin. That's fine, I have, things that I can load. Brankrug, March 7th, 1936. There has been no librarian at Hush House since the fire, 7 years now. Suitable candidates are very difficult to find, but perhaps we have found one in you. Take care on your journey. The seas around Brankrug are treacherous. So we've got a number of things here. We appear to have Fog of War in every part of the screen that isn't St. Brendan's Cove. There's not much we can click on here, but it says, St. Brendan's Cove. Here the sea ends and the world begins. Or, the other way around. After storms, the fishermen of Brankrug Village find oddities washed up here. And there's a little aspect here, these are called aspects, that says, out of bounds. This place lies beyond the bounds of the house. We've got our standard options menu there. A pause and unpause time feature, as well as speeding up and slowing down time. It's currently at its slowest. 5 inventory slots, a button that takes us directly to a place that we don't have access to yet, a button that goes to the next completed, which will make more sense later, a little button that gives us the music, some various other slots for holding things that are not items, or that are items that can easily fit in one's pockets. And this. The cold comes first. Thunder growling, waves pounding, and finally me, sprawled on the sodden sand of the beach. There's something in my hand. We have a card that represents our health, which is half drowned. Shivers rack my soaked body. I need to find somewhere to warm up. This also has the following aspects. the principles of heart and winter, which we'll discuss more later. It is an element of the soul. The human soul is composed of 9 elements, and this is one. Actually, give me a second. I need to reposition my little chat window because it's in the way of that. Just put it right down here. There we are. Most other things have simpler souls. Soul cards basically allow us to do things in this game. They're almost like putting a bit of ourself into what we do. Or, more directly, they represent how much energy we have to do disparate things in a day. However, this element of the soul card is maladied. Something has snared or sickened my soul. And it is also soaked, in peril of dissolution. Intervene quickly, but not hastily. Memory Storm. This is a memory of the storm we've just experienced. And it has heart and sky aspects. These specific aspects that have a single word like this are called the principles. And they have a relationship to each other, which I will explain later when they become relevant. Note that this memory has 2 heart and 2 sky. It's also a memory, which means it's ephemeral. It's just something that we remember. And finally, a drowned book. The one possession I kept from the shipwreck. It must be important to me. Journal. I began before this book, but it'll end when I do. Readable. There are worse things to put in your eyes than this. And it is a thing, which means it's a physical object, basically. The gentleman makes things his servants. The petty man is servant to things. Master Jun. So as you can see, the storm memory went to memories and lessons. Ah! Hello, Blippi, and good night. Thank you. We've got our half-drowned health under Elements of the Soul. Anything that matches the aspects below can go into this slot. So we can use an element of the soul, a memory, or something that is soaked. Now we could put in this memory of storm. I can't get my thoughts straight, but there's something in my hand. Yeah, they want us to put in the book. We can also put in our health. Alive, approximately. I'm soaked, I'm freezing, but as far as I can tell, I'm still alive. You still have some health. Don't lose it. You need it if you want to be alive. What else do you have? Your single remaining possession is in a belonging slot at the top. And now is where we put in the other stuff. The book's in bad shape, and I'm not much better. We're both in need of a warm, dry, safe place, and soon. Well, that's not it. There was a storm. It smashed the ship like an egg. But I seized this book as the sea seized me. Then the sea brought me here to Brankrug. And now, we can start. It will take us 5 seconds. And Brankrug is where I wanted to be, but it's hard to remember why. What else did I lose in the storm? Or Shapt? Bet? Okay. Shapt is eloquence and also understanding. The door opens both ways. Is my soul open to knowledge? Fet is that part of us which dreams. Are dreams important to me? Hor is exuberance, instinct, rhythm. Do those mean something to me? Again, we have to go with the book. And we can put in one of these three things. One of these three parts of the soul. Are we strong in our Shapt, Fet, or Core? Let's see here. My first time through, I went with Shapt. I think this time... one of the others, Fet or Core. Are we a dreamer? Or are we a doer? I think Core is the pick. The human soul has 9 parts. Exuberance, enthusiasm, instinct all rise from that part of the soul we call Core. Is my Core strong? Whereas Fet... Fet is the part of the soul that dreams. Is my Fet strong? This is the coast where Brankrug Isle lies. It wasn't easy to come here, but I don't give up easily. Even so, I know there's no way I can cross to the Isle in these seas. I'll need to find shelter for the night. And we have more memories. Wist, Faust, Metal, and Arab. Wist is the name, the memory, that part which remains. Is it important to me that things endure? Faust is sight, perception, inspiration, all the glory's gifts. Is my soul a bright soul? Metal is the capacity for meaningful choice. Did I prove my metal? Arab is pride, compassion, hatred, and fear. Do those passions burn in me? Again, I believe in my first time through I went with Wist, but in this case, since I already made a different choice to start off with, I think possibly making a different choice here is fine, or the same choice here is fine. However, I feel like going with Metal. Ah, hello Lilin. Hope you're having fun with Van, and I am having fun. This is a fun game. Thank you for the lurk. Right. What remains of me? My strength of character? Metal is the soul's tempering. Will, self-discipline, that part of us which makes the right choice. Choose a strong metal and a past where you made mistakes. Choose a strong Faust and a past with a pursuer who can see the light within you. Wist? Choose a strong Wist and a past where you sought voices that had fallen silent. And Arab. Choose a strong Arab and a past where your passions were paramount. The waves will wash away the others for now. Let's go with Metal. Perhaps here I can atone for all I've done, but what was that exactly? First things first, I remember that there's someone in the village who will give me sanctuary. If I can get there. We have an old friend's address. Denzel is the blacksmith of Brandkrug Village. I remember him from the war. If he remembers me, I can find shelter beneath his roof, once I've reached Brandkrug. Guidance. One last time, depend on the kindness of strangers. Can't have someone who's skeptical. Can't have anything that's skeptical. But I can use something with Sky or assistance. Brandkrug Village must be nearby, but it's hard going, dragging my soaked body across the soaked sand in the teeth of this wind. Which way? Memory, fear. The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown. H.P. Lovecraft. One of my favorite quotes of his, actually. My metal won't help me here, but it appears that my core, my instinct tells me it might be this way. And without a map, instinct is as good a compass as any. Another 10 seconds. The cliffs grow dark against the ragged stars, and then at last I see the light of a hurricane lamp bobbing in the dark. As it approaches, a face glimmers above the lamp. Hello, Sully. I'm standing ready. A fisherman from Brandkrug Village. He can guide me up the cliff path if he trusts me. So, this guy has the assistance and the Sky that we want. But... Ah. Hello, Sully. I see you're there.
It is me, the high-velocity serpent projectile.
I could very slightly hear myself in the background of your mic, which is how I knew that someone had arrived.
No. Input sensitivity, my beloved. Just you wait. One of these days I'll learn how to bullet jump, and it's going to be a horrible mess. 30 feet of tail spiraling through the air.
Ah, wonderful. But yes, this fisherman has the Sky and the assistance that we need, but he's suspicious and reluctant. So we need to get rid of his skepticism. Speak with him. Come no closer. What's thy business? Let's see. Ah, and here we have the spot for an introduction. Be someone that'll speak for ye? Of course, since 1930 and the Restoration, the locals have grown ever more suspicious of foreigners. There is someone in Brandkrug that I know. I'll take ye by the cliffs, then. This gentleman is no longer skeptical. Use him to unlock Brandkrug Village. Brandkrug Village, sanctuary in the storm. I'll need help to climb the cliffs in the dark, and the locals are suspicious of outsiders. More than ever so since the Restoration and the new king. And here we have Brankrug Village. It's a quaint little town. The local smithy, the post office, the Sweet Bones Inn, Mrs. and Mr. Keel, and the rectory. To go over these, we're going to be checking in with our old friend Denzel. Denzel the Smith has more work than he needs, and he rarely opens his door to strangers. Or no, Denzel Smith. I guess that's his name. The postmistress may have something for me, once I know what to ask for. After the restoration of 1930, the new king's agents came looking for his enemies in these parts, and they weren't gentle about it. Since those days, the locals are suspicious of foreigners. No one in the Sweet Bones will talk to me. Mrs. Keel, the midwife, is tall and gloomy. Mr. Keel, the undertaker, is slight and wry. In these troubled times, both are wary of strangers. As a note, there's a very interesting thing going on with this house, where, yeah, you've got a... Oh. I like being read to. I show up for Book of Hours and Cult of Sim streams. Well, thank you for showing up, Bass for Beans. Base for Beans? Not quite sure which one it is, but you're very welcome here. Ah, hold on. What? Actually? But yes, these two... Authorial intent does not exist. Say my name as you please. Base for Beans it is, then. You've got someone who... You've got a house that is very much the full spectrum of life and death. You've got, on one side, a midwife, and on the other side, a coffin maker. Outright, coffins and cradles, midwife and handywoman. It's such an interesting couple. Reverend Timothy is a hospitable soul, but Terence, his housekeeper, guards her employer fiercely. She doesn't want his innocent theological enthusiasms getting him in trouble with the new king's men. But yes, ultimately, we've got our friend's address here. Denzel looms in the fire-bright doorway. The storm wind plucks at you both. You? Here? How? Denzel only has the one bed, but he can offer me a straw mattress in the smithy. It's smoky, but the warmth is very welcome. The storm's clearing up, and we can hear birds again. And at this moment, time has begun to flow. We're currently in spring, and it's dawn. This little thing up here determines what time of day and what season it is. I'm still getting a little bit through your mic, Sully.
I am very sorry. I tried messing with the sensitivity to make that harder, but apparently that's not quite enough.
Ah. Oh well.
My biggest concern is that once I finally fix it, parts of my own sentences will start cutting out.
Yeah, I've noticed that can happen sometimes.
Hopefully I found a sweet spot. I'm not going to hold my breath.
Fair enough. Denzel pauses at the door as I wish him good night. Son'll be back, he observes. Always do. Used to say that in the ward, didn't we? The words linger as he clumps up the passage. The lamp flame flickers red, gold, red. Let's dry out this book a little bit. Let's see. Oh, it's just by doing that. Oh, I need somewhere much warmer, apparently. I mean, shouldn't the smoky room work? I guess not. So, ultimately, we're going to want to cross the Cucurbit Bridge. Every so often, someone builds a bridge to the Isle. Each bridge lasts 100 years, or 200, then the sea disposes of it. This was built in the 1890s, and that makes it the newest bridge, but that doesn't mean it's new. We're going to need assistance to repair the bridge, first off. Hush House has been empty for 7 years. Those 7 years have rendered the bridge perilous. Denzo will offer help for free as a friend. If you give him a cult coinage, he will perform the service of division. I do have the House of Light. I haven't actually really touched it much yet, beyond in my main save file, experimenting a bit with the cooking system and hosting salons. So that might be something very new for this stream. Ah, here we go. I need his help to dry out the book. Denzel watches with grave interest as I dry the book in the warmth of his forge fire. He provides wads of cotton to put between the pages, but otherwise he keeps his distance. He is wary of the written word. I am beginning to suspect he cannot read. I do not expect he will ever tell me. A modeled book. The cover is unusual. Horn, Bakelite, chitin. I should be able to remember. We've added some aspects to our book. It now has the sky and edge principles and is uncatalogued. Right, need my medal back. I'm going to need to restore my attributes before reading this. Big friendship book, because you used to be a sinner. Yeah, in my main file, very appropriately for my theming, I am actually the archaeologist, but I decided to go with some different choices at the beginning for this one. For the record, for those of you who don't know, the book you get here is actually based on the choices you made in terms of your starting skills. There's a different book for each past that you had. So this is effectively our character selection. This one's new to me. I haven't seen this one yet. Let's see. What else can I do here? Yeah, fatigued abilities recover at dawn, so... Let's see what happens if I just get assistance from Denzo without any topic in particular. Although, I suppose I can... No, I can't talk about my memories. The journals are such an interesting aspect. Ah, the blacksmith's assistants. It's an introduction. It's got other stuff too. So if I remember correctly, what I can do here is, as long as I have an introduction, I can potentially... Yes, okay. It's here. I haven't come alone. Denzel doesn't say a word. He sits with his arms folded and waits until others come to pay their respects to him at our table. So we get Denzel's assistance in ingratiating ourselves to the townsfolk. Eventually, the other patrons unbend enough to let me buy them a pint, and let me listen to them complain about the weather. I'll find a warmer welcome here next time. We have our third memory, Solace. Peace after trouble. Alrighty. We'll probably still need an introduction to the other people here, but probably does help that I think Denzel should have the forge for the bridge repairs. Want my elements to stop being fatigued. And I don't believe there's much else we can do right now, unless we were to... No, we can't really consider about our memories, or do anything else with them. So let's pass to the next day. The memories will probably burn up around about now, but they were probably always going to. At the moment, they're just here for flavor. But memories will be important later on. Right. Bright new morning. And all of our elements of the soul are back in action. Let's start doing things. First things first. Let's read this journal. My journal. The smooth, mottled cover is familiar, but the storm so scattered my thoughts. It's a sunny day. Weather is one of the most consistent types of memories that you can get. Each day that you pass by, you have the memory of the day's weather, and the weather has different aspects to it, of course. My journal, I'm sure of it. The storm scattered my thoughts, but each page I turn is familiar. I begin to recall now why I came here. To make amends. More about your origin and your aspirations in your journal. You can now also access the Tree of Wisdoms from the top of the screen. And we've got our second health card. Nice. As for that Tree of Wisdoms, well... this is the central mechanic of Book of Hours. The Tree of Wisdoms. It's an excellent symbol. I actually have a pendant with the Tree of Wisdoms carved into it that they sold as a special thing on the company's Etsy store because I love this symbol so much. Yes, I also have the tarot deck. The original one for Cultist Simulator, not the stained glass one. If you're wondering, my cult membership card was the Church of the Bright Edge. So as you can see, our journal fits into that central spot. And this is how we unlock the tree. We get Trist. The change and the longing. The last of the 9 parts of the human soul. We've seen the other ones by now. And this unlocks the first stage of all of the different wisdoms, which are Skolakosophy, Nyctodromy, Hushery, Illumination, Ithistry, Horomachistry, Birdsong, Preservation, and the Bosk. Back to reality for now, though. So, okay. Once again, we don't have a particular topic, so let's just get Denzel's assistance. Horomachistry and Nyctodromy overlap more than you'd think. Yeah. There's a lot going on in this game. So let me see here. Right. We can begin making repairs and unlock the Cucurbit Bridge right away. And over here, apparently this can be forged as well. A cottage where Hush House's groundskeeper lived until the fire. If I can get into the place and make it habitable, I can use it as a base for reclaiming more of the house. Yeah, let's not impose on Denzel more than we must. That'll take a full minute, so while we're doing that, let's do a bit of fortune-telling. I've garnered enough mystique to tell fortunes for pennies. Undignified, perhaps, but for the perhaps for the librarian of Hush House, but times are hard. The postmistress regards me with the chilly gaze of a goddess image in an ancient hill shrine. The librarian, says she. Yes, I have something for you. Wait here, please. The postmistress returns with an envelope addressed to the librarian, Hush House, Brankrug Isle, postmarked in Wales a week ago. Oh yeah, I will say that the idea of an in-game shop, I remember, like, thinking that there should be a shop where you're able to buy, like, really basic stuff, but the idea of having an in-game shop never really fully appealed to me. So, House of Light doing, and the later updates doing everything via mail-order catalog made me extremely happy. Weather Factory loves the post. The postmistress keeps the gate to the wider world. In her left hand is the lightning, which is to say the telegraph, and in her right the thunder, which is to say the only telephone in Brankrug. Before her lies the cash register, which accepteth the greater currency and returneth its lesser children.
I'm sorry? I'm strictly speaking, that's what cash registers do, bud.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense to me. So we got a letter and a 10-shilling note. What does this letter say? St. Ronwin's Trust wishes to congratulate me on my appointment as librarian of Hush House. The Trust assures me that it will provide the promised stipend each spring, but reminds me that its resources are limited and suggests I seek local assistance in restoring the premises. Let us know when you're all set up and ready to receive visitors, the letter concludes. It's signed simply, The Trustees. Right, so our job is to get things running again at Hush House, whatever that means. Right. Ah. That's something to have Denzel help us with later. And here we go. We have officially unlocked Hush House. This is our new home for the time being. The groundskeeper's hut. We've got a simple bed. Apparently we need a card with a soul card with heart in it to move here. A basket of clean. Oh, yes.
Now, what I want to know is, why the house so hush? Did its previous occupants just have sensitive ears?
Well, it is a library, and it is forbidden. So I think the name makes a lot of sense.
You know, I may have completely blinked over the part where it's a library. I may have forgotten that this is a game called Book of Hours.
Oh, yeah, Solomon Husher named it. True. That's also probably why it's called Hush House.
Solomon? Damn, I haven't seen him since the boss raids.
Oh, shut up. We've got a bit of homemade dandelion wine, a basket of clean linens, the key to Hush House. Heavy enough that it takes both hands to turn. Heavy enough to brain someone, though you need both hands for that too. Got a fireplace for making tea.
Heavy enough to brain someone.
A potted dragon tree, a determined, spiky little survivor, which is a leaf with the scale aspect. You'll notice, by the way, that when I hover over an aspect, it highlights everything that I can see that shares that aspect. So if we look at the Dawnline coffee, it also features scale. Coffee from beyond the Great Deserts. Got a lovely chair here, a straw cushioned, upholstered without any particular skill. Well, I think it looks comfortable. Got a little tea set. Plates, cups, and glasses, so that if I want to offer someone wine, I needn't give them the whole bottle. Shadowless silk, a variant of the Persian silk tree, golden as the shadowless kings. Honey Scar scented candle, a candle scented with Honey Scar jasmine. And, up here, we have a number of books. 2 of them are identified for us. The first 2 volumes of Traveling at Night. I also like how it doesn't let you fill out order forms in perniculate, the poisonous ink. Yeah, that's, that would be a little bit of a, unfortunate day at the office for anyone who was working at the catalog.
They should let you do it anyways once, and it should be hilarious. There should be like a newspaper article about it.
Wonderful. Ah. But yes. Traveling at Night. The Annotated Dream Journals of Christopher Illopoli, sometimes called the only readable occultist. Literate, entertaining, bewildering. Yeah, occultists have a tendency to not be particularly easy to read their work. Makes Christopher notable. The first volume has the following aspects. First off, a tally price. This is basically what it's worth in occult currency, spintria. Spintriae? Spintriae? I've always called it spintria, with the AE pronounced like an kind of sound, but I don't actually know if that's correct. Mystery Knock. Greater challenges require stronger skills. That has a value of 4, which means that in order to decipher this book, we're going to have to pull together 4 of the knock principle, which is the principle of opening. It's readable, which basically just means that we can treat it as a book. Again, it's a physical thing. Its subject is the Edicts Liminal. This is the skill that we're going to learn by reading this book. The precepts of limitation and division, established by the enigmatic conclave of Hours, sometimes called the Chancel. Savage, Illopoli, and Galmier all publish easy-to-read occult works, though Savage might make you forget to take the material seriously. Yes.
Wait, Randy Savage?
No, not him. For the record, I want to mention... I see 2 cool snakes. Thank you, Nerd Letter. Thank you, Paint. I do want to mention, for the record, I am very familiar with this game and its lore, but I'm purposely not giving away everything I know from the get-go. For example, I'm about to say, interesting. What exactly are a conclave of Hours? I know what Hours are, but I'm not going to say it yet.
Alright, I'm gonna dip, you dork.
Alrighty. See you, Sully.
You dorks in chat, make sure to pick on her lots.
Why?
Way.
Alrighty. Sully's cool. I thought this was a library. You're supposed to give me information for free. Well, library's not open yet. Library is currently recovering from a fire. Must be going as well. Sleepy early because I think I'm getting sick. Oh, I hope you feel better, Paint. Have a good rest. Yeah, next up is the period. Nocturnal period. By the beginning of the 20th century, an unwise librarian's enthusiasm had brought Hush House to penury, which penury basically means that it's bankrupt. Nocturnal Branch, later the Suppression Bureau, stepped in to offer an arrangement. Hush House received funding, but submitted to yearly inspections and also surrendered a portion of the Isle for the branch's prison. Basically, this tells us what period of time, organized into the periods of time that were relevant to Hush House, this book was written in. The Nocturnal period is not the most recent period. Actually, no, it might be the most recent period. I think it actually is. I'll have to check that, but Christopher Illopoli is a very recent occultist writer. There's going to be people who are writing that are much, much older than him. Finally, this is a codex, which means it is explicitly a book. Pages, cover, spine, knowledge decently tucked away like organs. God, I love Alexis Kennedy's writing style. As for the second volume, interestingly enough, while the first volume's mystery was Knock 4, the second volume is Sky 6. So it's a totally different type of knowledge that we'll need, and more of it. And instead of Edict's Liminal, its subject is sights and sensations. But yes, this is our home for the time being. But we can also start opening up the great gate of the house. The walls of the house tower above me. I had been told that it was abandoned after a fire, but there is no sign of any such thing. The building will no doubt need restoration, but it's in better shape than I'd feared. Books are the memory that does not die, reads the inscription above the gate. Well, let's take that key and unlock the door. And also finish up our fortune-telling. Probably the last thing to do. The fortunes I tell may be true, and they may be real. The money, at least, is real. And we've got tuppence. 2 pence, or if you prefer, tuppence. A sort of Janus of pennies. Oh, no, does it not work? Oh, no, I see. Well, we'll see. Not much else to do but run down this particular timer. And that's the first room. We've come in. Got a couple of paintings on the wall. I see Raveline Summer, a dry spell in a still place. The Tattered Outlaw. Thyrza Blake, 7th librarian of Hush House, liked painting donkeys. No one else liked her donkey paintings, but Thyrza never much cared for what other people liked. Wall art. You could describe the whole house as a book, although it would be troublesome to index. Treasury of Shelters. It's like an armory for not getting pneumonia. Vase of Gorse. As Cornish a plant as any. Serena Blackwood. This bust is carved from alabaster. Thyrza is an icon. Absolutely. Thyrza is fantastic. Thyrza has done nothing wrong in her life ever. That's probably not true, but still. Yethhound horns. In times past, the Yeth pursued the impious and impure across the moors of this country. Hendrik de Wolf never liked them. Here's a new aspect for us. Well, actually, a couple of them. God forbid a woman do a little crime. Honestly, things would probably... I'm not sure anything she did technically counts as a crime. But... well, you'll see. We've got Grail, Hunger, Lust, the Drowning Waters. Scale, hard without, hard within, hard to rouse, harder to subdue. And this is a carcass, something that once moved without my assistance. Red deer antlers. Not quite hair, not quite teeth, but proof that someone killed something. Denzel has edge and forge aspects. So he's not going to be useful for helping out with the cloistered garden, because that takes lantern or nectar. However, forge is useful for the gatehouse stairs. This is an important room, because this room is our first major desk. This is Ava's desk. A magnificent 18th century secretary desk commissioned for Lady Ava de Wulf, last of the Brankrug de Wulfs. Desks are going to be very important once we start actually cataloging our books. Backseat for a secret? I'm not sure what you mean, but go ahead. It is late at night after all, the best time for secrets. Under the window, weird panel. Oh? Oh ho! I never knew about that! Oh my goodness, that's so cool! Thank you so much! Gervinite. An alloy equivalent in some respects to the clockmaker's Invar, but instead of a constant weight, it retains the same origin in every history. Interesting stuff. Watchman's Tower, first floor. The notorious Ava de Wulf, first and last Baroness Brankrug, liked this room, because this side of the house carried fewest memories of her poor father Valentine, so she could eavesdrop on the conversations of visitors waiting below, or just because of how the pale light slanted through the windows in the last days of winter. This is a room, and you'll notice it also has a period. Just like books have periods, rooms do as well. This is from the baronial period. In the 16th century, the de Wulf family became the Barons Brankrug, governing the Isle as their personal estate, until 1759, when their line ended in madness and death. There's also some spots here on the windows. These are bookshelves. We can put books here once we're ready to start organizing them. We also have a couple tools in here. Got a painting, as above, so below. A classic terminology used in occultism. Basically translates as in heaven, so too on earth. The idea being that the broad elements of the cosmos and the smaller elements of Earth reflect each other. It's also the basis of what we would call sympathetic magic, which is how, for example, modern depictions of voodoo dolls are supposed to work. If you affect something on a small scale that's connected to a larger scale, the large scale will be affected in a similar way. We've got Baron Silence's astrolabe. Everyone wants to base metaphysics on physics. Yep. Thomas de Wulf used this armillary, a spherical astrolabe, in his calculations, but it's much older than he was. And a mirror scope. Bewildering, and occasionally useful. Also a bit of Ugol ink, a variant of Iron Gall ink, particularly difficult to erase. A minor ink of power. Back in the 11th century, Brian of Brittany built the tower and its gate to protect St. Brandon's Abbey, as Hush House was then known. Later, the Barons de Wulf strengthened the gate against their many enemies, but it's a long time now since Hush House was any kind of fortress, and by the time the scholars of the Curia took possession, this place had long been a comfortable waiting room for visitors to the house, too minor to merit immediate attention. Oh, we also have another bust. Walter de Wolf. This bust is carved from serpentinite, a striking local stone. Ooh, interesting. Alright. Let's end out our day. I need an introduction. It comes from Knock, Lantern, or Sky. It's almost the morning. Oniroscopic irresponsibility, a crime in Cultist Sim, reading material in Book of Hours. Yeah. Goodness. You're allowed to do so much stuff in Book of Hours that would get you arrested in Cultist Sim. It's incredible just how much privilege you have from being approved by the Curia. Excuse me a moment, I'm gonna get some water. Need to hydrate. For the time being, we're going to move into this room because there isn't really a better bedroom. And our job is to slowly restore this house. So, it's probably about time to ask, what's the goal of this game? How do you win? Well, the answer is, for now, restore the house. And once you're happy with it functioning, you can write a letter back to St. Ronwin's Trust to say that you're ready to receive visitors. Aside from that, we don't know what the win condition is yet. It's more about what you want to do than what you have to do, so to speak. Righto. So, what I want to do is get this house expanded. Let's see here. The win condition is don't get arrested. Well, the thing is you can't. The librarian of Hush House has certain privileges that I don't want to say put them above standard law, or even non-standard law. But basically, the only people who can officially sanction you for whatever you do are St. Ronwin's Trust and the Hours themselves. You can discuss the occult with the Suppression Bureau over arcane cake. Hopefully I will be. There's some lovely people at the Suppression Bureau, despite the fact that the whole organization is, well, dedicated to suppressing knowledge, as the name might imply. But they're basically fine with the Watchman's Tree, because there's not really much they can do about it. Like I said, the librarian has certain privileges. Righto. Take some time using metal to fix and mend things. That's something that we're good at. Meanwhile, there's a gale outside today. So let's see if there's anything we can do with that. We should start cataloging our books. This is an uncatalogued book from the Curia period. This is Sunset Celia and the End of Days. An Obliviate adept identified only as the Emiliano rants desperately about the part Sunset Celia played in the Intercalate as the proxy of the sun. Yeah, if you guys didn't believe me earlier about when we were talking about Christopher Alopoli being the only readable occultist, this is kind of what it's like. The sun, the sun, the sun, the sun. No, wrong Alexis Kennedy setting. That one's Fallen London, Sunless Sea. Right. Subject is Sacre Limier. They want 10 mystery worth of sky. Curia period. Yeah, foresight memory. Wow, I do have to say, do you just know off the top of your head what kinds of memories come from different books? Because that's always been a challenge for me. That is impressive. I genuinely. Well, I was hoping to find something that had heart for us to do. Unfortunately, not yet. In which case, I'll just do this as well. As they used to say in my youth, the day is done and so am I, but I've earned my pay. And some manual labor as well. Oh? Recordings from the Alpheban Abyss. Recordings from a subterranean space in the mountains near Baghdad of conversations between the entomologist Juliana Zawistowski and an unidentified presence. This one is Scale. It's written in Deep Mandaic. This is not a book. This is a phonograph record. Fear, you could have guessed that, yeah. Subject, Stone Stories. Okay. This is a safe place for me now, to the extent that dreams are safe. Alright. Oh, right, I forgot. I still need an element of the soul for this. Oh well, I guess we're gonna lose the Gale memory. I was hoping to save it, but... It's not super important. Gale just happens to be a particularly good memory because it's a 3... in 2 things. Dreams are not safe, speaking of secrets. No, no, they are not. And then our 2 sixpence have just turned into a shilling. 12 pence, or if you prefer, 1/20th of a pound. Oh. In spring, the local miners often travel to the Feast of Lights below. If one breaks his journey at the Sweet Bones, a shilling will buy his labor for a day. Miners offer scale, forge, and a little moon. Alternatively, add a soul card to find any rarer guests who might be seeking employment. Interesting. Ah, a shaving mirror. Snip, snip. Oh, this is clever. Looking at its aspects, I understand exactly why both of those aspects are there. It's a mirror, so it automatically has lantern, but because it's specifically a mirror related to shaving, that's where the moth comes from. I know that probably sounds completely incomprehensible to some people here, but there is a logic to things. You are Arun posting. Okay, fair. You're right, but you don't have to say it like that. Alright, a new day, once again. Yeah. So, we're looking for someone that has lantern or nectar to open up the cloistered garden. Alternatively, Grail or Sky for the Watchman's Tower. It's a rainy day. It's gonna be Grail and Nectar. Wait. Oh no, yeah, it needs to be assistance. But I can discuss things. I remember that aspect. It's been a while since I was at the beginning of the game. This bit's actually, I'm a little bit slow with it because in my main save, I've unlocked the entire house. And the way I've played the game has shifted to me almost never needing assistance. I'm almost entirely solitary. So I actually don't remember a lot about how to do this part. Very fun, though. It's kind of like coming back to it with fresh eyes and getting to discover everything all over again. Your journal has readable aspects. I didn't realize that for many hours. It gives many skills. Oh. Ooh. It's an edge mystery. Okay. So that means metal. So let's go ahead and read our journal. For unusual help, passing by is a surrealist painter. Okay. Grail, Moth, and Rose assistants. Yes, she will be helpful. Oh, she wants 24, right. You know, I want to do this the right way. Let's go ahead and go over to the post office. And break the note. Shillings discarnated into lesser coins. We have a crown, 5 shillings, 1/4 of a pound. A half crown, 2.5 shillings, obviously. A florin, a shilling per side. Shilling itself, 6 pence and 2 pence. Right. Now, we can just go ahead and give the surrealist painter a florin. So we've hired a surrealist painter who is passing by. And, okay. The ceiling bows worryingly under a damp patch. There must be a leak in the observatory. The sun above knows what state it's in. I should seek help and enter carefully. So that sounds like more of a sky problem, but most likely the flood aspects make it something that someone skilled in Grail would be decent with. Sun above, yeah. We are successful in our reading of our own journal. I would hope so. We also, in the meantime, do some more fortune telling. There we go. I imagine it does take a certain edge or metal to read that journal, yeah. So, we've got more uncatalogued books. A telescope. This is... So, I mentioned desks earlier. Desks are a kind of crafting station. The crafting stations are a major part of this game. Desks are just a very specific type of crafting station. A crafting station will always have about 5-ish slots, and the idea is that you put in certain amounts of an aspect through different types of things. A desk will always have an element of the soul, a skill, a memory, a paper slot where you put in either a book or blank paper, which cannot, a readable thing or blank paper, but it can't be a phonograph record or a reel of film. And finally, a with slot that accepts tools and inks. However, this telescope is a little different. It still has the soul, skill, and memory slots, but its other 2 slots just say plus. And one of the plus slots accepts elements of the soul, lenses, and tools. The other accepts lenses, memories, and tools. So both of these slots accept lenses and tools, but one of them is an element of the soul and the other is a memory slot. So they're kind of extra slots of these two. Different crafting stations are able to make different recipes just due to the reality of, like, how the numbers add up over various different things. We've also got a glass of mist-kissed water. This is something that we can drink. It is a liquid, a beverage, which is, as an amusing note, this game classifies water as a beverage, which I think is correct, but is actually not correct according to the technical definition of beverage, which is a thing that is drunk but is not water. I've always found it weird that they define beverage like that. Gonna wait on explaining the evolve via disciplines such as ithistry? Yeah, I'm gonna wait till that comes up. Partially because it's been a while since I played. I'm not sure I can give a good explanation from memory alone. So, we've got some lessons. Surgeries and exsanguinations. And sickle and eclipse. Oh shoot, I just realized I forgot to actually check the read text of my diary. I hope there wasn't anything there. Oh, here we go. Memories, the Executioner. You get that knowledge from being the Executioner. The text is in the top right. Yeah, there it is. I was employed by the Suppression Bureau to preserve the daylight world by destroying those things that walk in the night. For years I was faithful to that duty, but sometimes the things I hunted wept when I slew them. And so at last I set aside my knives and came here, where I can do no more harm. Perhaps I can even make amends. Oh! So we're playing as a former Suppression Bureau agent who regrets their violent past. Ooh, yeah. Oh. So that's who I was. So, the first tier of each lesson can be exchanged directly. The first lesson in a skill you don't have yet will just give you the skill for free. So our first skill, one we've known about for some time, is the skill of surgery and exsanguination. Surgery entails the flow of blood, and the flow of blood entails purification, but the door also opens the other way. This means that infestation, we have an immediate way to deal with infestation, which is something I had a problem with in my main save. As for Sickle and Eclipse, we've got a penny and 3 pence. It's getting close to the end of the day. I'm gonna put my heart in more manual labor. Sickle and Eclipse deals with corruption. I think the Executioner is big anti-curse. Yeah, no, that makes sense. We'll find out what Sickle and Eclipse is about in a moment, but I think as I recall, you're right. another leaf on the Tree of Wisdoms. Sultan Silver, balance, necessity, and rebuke. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yes, here we go. There's something I can talk about. On these skills, you can see the usual things here. The principles, heart and knock in this case. The principle called knock permits no seal and no isolation. It thrusts us gleefully out of the safety of ignorance. So, why surgery is these particular ones is pretty straightforward. Anything to do with heartbeat and life tends to involve heart, because heart is the principle of ceaselessness. It's where life comes from, is the beating of the heart. Dun dun, dun dun, dun dun, dun dun. Just going on forever, like the beating of a drum. But surgery also has to do with making openings. And knock is the principle of openings and doors. It's a skill. It's got our effective against infestations here, but also it is potentially from two different branches of the Tree of Wisdoms. It's either hushery, the great art of hushery understands the beauty of silence and of its sundering, or preservation, healing and restoration, an unglamorous wisdom, at least to those who never wonder how the world still exists. Which makes sense too. A surgery can involve death, but it can also involve healing and life. This is more... We're going to, as the game goes on, actually assign these skills to different spots in the tree. Now, the tree is very complicated, and I'm just going to say right now that I'm not going to be explicitly trying to get, like, a perfect tree or anything like that. I'm mostly going to just try to kind of play my character, the old sinner. So, playing that character, let's turn our... Let's turn our skills with surgery in a positive direction. And assign this to preservation. In the times when nothing was forgotten, 3 flowers bloomed on the watchman's tree, black, red, and gold. Red is the life that flows in the body's courses, but the blood of the Carapace Cross was golden. Now, Sickle and Eclipse, I'm actually going to wait a bit before assigning that one, because I want to level it up a bit. In fact, no, we don't have any of the memories we need. I mean, I suppose I could just do this, but I would also need the right thing there. Okay. So for the rest of the day, let's use our core. In this case, we're cataloging a book of the baronial period. That's a much older one. 1500s to 1700s. Also, can I... Oh, my manual labor's done. Can I do anything with core at the Sweet Bones? That's also manual labor. So there used to be the those used to be the flower's colors. Gold is now white, according to the yew tree. Maybe that's reasonable now that the cross has passed. Yeah, things do change over time. Though this is a... oh, that makes sense. While things change over time, the golden is under preservation, which is the... Well, the knowledge of things not changing as much. God, I'm still just imagining people who are listening to us discussing this base and, like, having no idea what the fuck we're talking about. Like, I know what you're talking about, and you know what I'm talking about. But this must sound very bizarre. Alan the Red came with his brothers, Alan the White and Alan the Black, to plant the tree at Hush House. Alright, what's this one? An Impertinent Vitulation. A book of kitchen garden techniques and aphrodisiac recipes recorded by Ernestine Peterhans, the Iron Seneschal of Hush House for 3 generations of DeWolfs. Yeah, that's certainly a Grail book. Let's, can we put this one under the bed for now? I'm not sure I'm comfortable with it out in the open. Actually, wait, what am I talking about? I'm completely fine with that out in the open. Alright. This one's Curia period, and here's more baronial. Last cataloging for the day. I love the weather ambiance and how it... Like, there's great music in this game, but I can hear the rain in my headphones, and it's making this so much better. Ooh, the Watchful Tantra. There's a very neat description on the tree outside of the old prison. Yep. I remember that one. Notorious for its involvement in the deaths of Dafydd Jones and Meredith Blaine, 2 early physicists who each claimed to have the only copy and who ultimately fought a duel over it in 1840. This is a Purification and Exaltations book. It is written in Sanskrit. Now, unlike in Cultist Simulator, we can actually already read Sanskrit. Holy Tongue of the Subcontinent. The door to 4,000 years of poetry, ceremony, and mystery now opens before you, if you can struggle through the lotus convolutions of its vocabulary. Yeah, the librarian does need to learn some of the more odd languages, things like Deep Mandaic or Vac, as I recall, but you start off knowing the basic languages that we're familiar with in real life, like Latin, Greek, Sanskrit, and Aramaic. Alrighty. Librarian knows dead languages, not languages that have never been spoken by humans. Yep, exactly. Well, I don't know that they've never been spoken by humans, but they've certainly... most of the humans that have spoken them and still speak them wouldn't exactly be referred to as humans anymore. I can make out a green and shaded space, but it's choked with weeds and thorns. I'll need help to clear the space. Not commonly. That's oniroscopic irresponsibility. Fair enough. world do I get these introductions to... I suppose maybe I just don't. I could have sworn that I was able to introduce myself to everyone else at some point in the other ones. Yeah, mutual acquaintance. Ah, right, we can grab people from the Sweet Bones. Makes sense. At our health to see who's gonna be around today. Start doing a bit more cataloging. It's a sunny day, so lantern in the sky. De Ratio Quercum. In English, the title translates roughly as The Account of the Oaks, but this is Nathaniel Darcy Evers' fascinating, if haphazard, survey of the occult properties of every tree he can find, not just oaks. That's right of the rights of the roots, and this one's in Latin. A dead language, dead as diamonds. Unique memory from that book. Oh. I suppose we'll have to see. I know it may seem frustrating to those who haven't played before that I'm cataloging all these books but not actually reading them yet. That's because I don't really have the... I don't have the right aspects to actually read and understand most of these books just yet. Soon enough. Right, we've got a consulting engineer. Lantern, Sky, and Ford. That's someone we need. Lantern works. This book is The Republic of Teeth, an eccentric political tract by Valentine de Wolf. Serpents and Venoms. And Mystery is Scale. Okay. Sparrow is Alex Jones of the Mansus. This should unlock a number of directions to go in. At minimum, here and here. I also think that Arun purposefully messes with him. It is written. Musgrave, fourth of the De Wolf line, writes tentatively about the Covenant of Brankrug and the legacy of the sacred inks he calls Incosta Potentialia. Yep, 3 different directions. The sisters and brothers of the Abbey built these gardens in the 13th century, at the height of the period we now call Solar Gothic. Walk here a while and breathe the peace they left. So that's a huge thing. Hush House was not always a library. It used to be a baronial estate, but before that, it was a church. And who knows what's down here? I do. But yes, so from here we branch out to the Long Tower, first floor. The Long Tower looks like it's been abandoned much longer than 7 years. In the nocturnal period, the inhabitants probably spent most of their time on the seaward side of the isle. I'll need help to restore the room above. The walled garden. Iron spikes march along the top of the wall. The gate is rusted shut, but what I can see through the bars is as ruinous as I might expect. And I have reached the threshold of the house proper. The librarians of the Curia were scholars of note, some were potent adepts. From here I should proceed carefully, observing the proper forms, making the appropriate offerings. The villagers and other locals know the ways of the earth and sea hereabouts. Their assistance will be invaluable. Right. The Orchid Transfigurations, A Birth. The second volume of a compilation of quasi-Rosicrucian allegories, supposedly by Robert Flood. This is in the original Latin. Ah, I remember this one. So, let's look at my books and see which one I have a good chance of. Knock is probably going to be... In theory, it would be the easiest. I've got Knock here. Grail, the horny on main aspect, and Hungry. Don't mix the two. Sky is also potentially a promising start. This one has a very low scale aspect that we would need, but unfortunately, we don't speak Deep Mandaic, and we don't have a phonograph. Did our manual labor? Oh yeah, also need guidance here. winter. And we can take a walk on the moor. That's something I haven't been thinking of doing just yet. Mostly because I don't want to clutter up the house just yet with all sorts of random bullshit. Not until I have a bit more space to work with. But dog, that is a good point. That's Grail and Nectar. What can I do, potentially, with Grail and Nectar? I do have Core giving me Grail. What is wrong with me? I remember that there's a way to upgrade. Or no, it's by... Right. It's by somehow I have to, combine skills together. Oh, this is probably that, that one aspect the upgrade with, but God. Evolve via preservation, that's the one, yeah. Right, yes, so we can use surgeries and exsanguinations in order to fuse our 2 core cards into a stronger core card. But right now that might not be the best. Well, we don't have the thing for it right now, but also, it's not necessarily the best to do at the moment because the more skill cards you have, the more you can do. Alrighty, so... seek some unusual help over there. Get started on a bit more this. Oh yes, there is one thing in this area that's notable, which is the garden. It's currently still spring, but we're going into summer. So we should be able to get sea holly here soon. We would need a nectar knowledge, or a nectar skill, though, which we don't have. Deaths of the Moon. Written in Kilasimi. 8 Moon, and it's snow stories. A historical tract on various forms of survival after death. No Kilasimi at the dinner table. It makes people upset. A musician is passing by. Okay. Nectar. Rose, and Sky. Do we need that? We probably do. That's Lantern and Winter. Nock or Rose. But does he have enough Rose? Or enough Nectar for here? Well, okay. I can give him extra Nectar in a couple of different ways, I think. And I can't give him extra Rose. No, I can, with the Pillis Oat Bread. It's worth a shot. Let's see. Right. Okay. He has... 4 of everything. Excellent. I think it's more important to unlock the threshold. We're going to use, instead of using Nock, the principle of opening, we're going to use Rose, the principle of travel and the horizon. This is one that confused me when I first played the game, because they had gotten rid of the secret histories principle. And Rose, for a while, I was like, doesn't that overlap with Nectar? Because I'd only seen the name. But when I looked at it closer, I realized, oh, it's a compass rose. This is where secret histories went. For the record, secret histories is both an explicit principle in Cultist Simulator, but also it's the name of the overall setting. Both Cultist Simulator and Book of Hours take place in the Secret Histories universe. The various different principles that are from the first game are all listed on the Tree of Wisdoms. Morgan Minor Muncher Machuin once sang a song in Kilisimi to Zachary Wakefield, and everyone had to go to another room and cry. Understandable. But yeah, you can see that we've got, around the edges, Grail, Lantern, and Forge, which are the 3 major principles from Cultist Simulator that you can win with in the base game. Then going squiggly in between the various different skills are Edge, Winter, Nock, and Heart. And Moth, right there. The way these go around, I believe, is that each individual skill has 2 or 3 different, each individual knowledge has 2 or 3 different principles that feed into it. Like, Ithistry is Forge, Nock, and Winter. Illumination is Forge, Lantern, and Edge. The Bosk is Grail, Heart, and Moth, and so on. But there's actually space for another one of these long, all-encompassing things right here. And you can see it's been hastily scrubbed out with the Suppression Bureau seal. I believe that's where Secret Histories used to be. Or what we now know as Rose. Birdsong, Preservation, and the Bosk are referred to as the Arts Unregarded. Scolacosophy. Oh, that's the Velvet. It's a mole-shaped scratch. Oh, good point! Oh, Velvet, you scoundrel. I didn't even think of that. No, it makes sense that the Velvet would be allied with the Suppression Bureau in some way. They are the Keeper of Secrets, after all. But yeah, Scolacosophy, Nyctodromy, and Hushery are the night arts, and Illumination, Ithistry, and Horamachistry are the bright arts. The Carmine Petal, unexpurgated. A project proposed by Lionel of the Society of the Noble Endeavor, by which he claims he succeeded in creating a sanctuary for a fugitive forge name. The unexpurgated version. Oh geez, that takes 18 forge mastery. We need to know a lot of forge for this one, despite it being in English. Its subject is Disciplines of the Hammer. That's not going to be one we're reading for a while. And now the entrance hall with quite a bit of, statuary. Valentine de Wolf, 6th Baron Brankrug, known for his eccentricities. In the sky he sought his friends, an inscription reads. Oh, it's got a little bird on it. Hendrik de Wolf, 1st Baron Brankrug, known for his pious, merciless justice. Granted Brankrug Isle in 1536 after the dissolution of St. Brandon's. Lady de Braos, sometimes known affectionately as the First Eva. Lady de Braos never visited the Isle, but it was her generous endowment that allowed the abbey to thrive and grow in the 13th century. Lady Rowena. For as long as there has been a hush house, there have been stories of its enigmatic protectress. Sister. Priestess, oracle, queen? A very old image from the Dawn period with simple inscriptions. Rowena is the oldest of her sisters by some histories, Morgan the least grailsome, Our Lady of Wires the most. Abbot Thomas. Thomas was one of the first abbots here, just before the beginning of the Solar Gothic period. This bust is much more recent, a 19th century bronze. An inscription reads, Speech, the First Sword. It was Abbot Geoffrey who gave Natan of Regensburg sanctuary here, and decreed the building of the Barber's Tower where Natan and his family could dwell. In 15th century England, only a determined and well-respected abbot could have persuaded the brothers to shelter a Jewish physician. Yeah, true. We've got some Lignum Vitae blank, the hardest of all woods. Ask Vac about the first sword, lol. A spoken wound. What have we got here? Fekri's Herbery. The early wisdom of Aeson Fekri, at that point a traveling healer, much later the Secretary Salvant of the Curia of the Isle. Got our tuppence from fortune telling. Where were we? Crowcross Sands at high tide. The boy prays. There's no sign of a boy in this distorted, menacing image, and no one seems to be praying. Leaves in the Wind. A soothing but undistinguished work in oils. Someone evidently was good at trees and wanted you to know it. And there's 2 copies of Leaves in the Wind. A gloomy study of the sea in gloomy weather. Authority. Once this shepherd's crook represented the authority of the church. Perhaps the Suppression Bureau kept it here because they liked the idea of authority in general. Saint Melanchthony. Visionary philosopher alchemist, most revered and most heterodox of the Isles Abysses. An inscription in Latin reads, "The cross died not, but passed within." This is something that it took me a while to understand the significance of, because I still thought that the word cross here was referring to the Christian cross. I hadn't considered that it meant the Carapace cross. And the implications of the cross passing within. Scientist nun, carrier of the Carapace. Alright, we put our money back together. There we go. Right, we are slowly but surely making our way into the heart of the house. I love this part of the game. It's having this massive, unexplored place. It all feels so intimidating, but also kind of exciting. And then later on in the game, when you've unlocked all the rooms, and the place just feels like home. It's a game that portrays settling into a new place very well. Still the very end of spring. At the moment, we've only got one more uncatalogued book. It's sunny out. That unfortunately doesn't help us much. Meticulously crafted vibes in this game. I'm saying! Oh, hello. A message from St. Ronwen's Trust has arrived. The Trust hopes I've arrived safely, but wonders why. If so, I haven't yet replied. The letter is signed simply, The Trustees. Right. Let's see. If we go over to the desk here. A charming reply to St. Ronwen's Trust. Or an enigmatic reply. Or a pragmatic reply. We can actually choose exactly how we reply to them. I don't think that this actually changes anything, but this isn't really a game about your actions having massive, far-reaching consequences. In fact, I believe Alexis Kennedy explicitly said that he wanted to not have that happen, which is why he doesn't actually let you know how all the incidents are resolved. It's about role-playing. It's about being the librarian and choosing what you want to do as the librarian. I think I like the Trist reply best. The core reply is a little bit too cheery, and it makes us sound like we're trying too hard to get rid of our old reputation. The meta reply is too close to our old reputation. The Trist reply indicates a desire to change. The sea remains, the house remains, what else remains we shall learn in time. I am something new, and in time I will learn what that means. Got a surrealist painter. Let's see. Rail, Moth, Rose. Rail helps us out there. I'm not certain whether I should actually catalog this one. I know that there's reasons. I don't remember the exact reasons because I cataloged everything in my main save file. I know that there's reasons to leave at least one book of every type uncatalogued until the very end of the game. But I don't know exactly how important that is. I'll leave it for now. Multitudinous books, only for having literally every book. How important would you say it is? House of Light DLC manages getting all your skills to 9. Okay, so the multitudinous books aren't all that relevant anymore? If that's the case. Pride points and roleplay, kinda important. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. I'll probably keep one of each still, but in the early game I want as many books as I can get. Just in case one of them's actually easy enough to read. That said, this intuition memory is going to be very helpful. At least I think it is. Oh, jeez. I didn't... I'm probably going to need to save this memory. Oh, I can't. Oh, well. Wainscoe Histories, subtitled Stories from Behind the Walls, a miscellany of non-traditional histories, including battles not generally acknowledged in countries which appear on no map, told in a playful, apparently fictional manner. Ha! Auroral Contemplations. Takes over 30 years for Oriflammes to give you everything. That's a point. Okay. Right. Metal helps here. Now I can improve Sickle and Eclipse to level 2. In order to improve a skill, at least one of the memories that you slot into it must be a lesson learned, but the rest can be your own memories. In this case, the intuition that we gained from writing that reply. Speaking of which, I should probably post that. Stamp, envelope, send. Now I can expect visitors, correspondence, and a stipend from the Trust every spring. The postmistress examines the letter and deems it sufficient. It'll go with the next post, she assures me. the skill used to be 2 edge, 1 moon, and now it's 3 edge, 2 moon. It's gone up. Also, this area is now unlocked. A lovely little garden. The Scent Garden. The postmistress has a hell of a time on Numa. Oh god, let's not get into Numa just yet. This too dates from the time of the Abbey. But in summer, neither sisters nor brothers were permitted to spend more than a single hour here, lest the temptation of savors overwhelm them. On an unusual pilgrimage, an unusual nun. Nuns don't usually travel alone. This one does. The Sister of the Triple Knot. Oh, she's a triple knot! Provides Knock, Moon, and Grail assistance. Okay. Do I need any of those? I do need Moon. And I should have just barely enough time. I've hired her. And we're going to use her to get to the ground floor of the Grand Ascent. It's interesting that all of the stars are on strings. It almost feels like the scenery in a play. I'm not sure what that implies. There's not a massive theater theme to the Secret Histories setting, but... Anyway. Grand Ascent, ground floor. The staircase that served as the spine of the house. Baron Walter's great project, executed by the master mason Gregory Wheelock. As a note here, there's actually some interesting niches around in the staircase. Streamer. Order of birds or worms, also secret time. If you're talking about putting the busts in their proper places, I'll be doing that in general. Bird or worm? Oh boy. Worm. Oh, consider couch. Rose's favorite chair, somewhat pocked with cigar burns. Me too. Immortality is for the birds. I'll be honest, I still don't fully understand bird versus worm, but the reason I pick worm is that I've always felt more of a connection to... Like, I associate birds with the Aviform hours, all that stuff about birdsong and the way that the hours speak in the heights. And and I've always felt more connected to the storyline about the Carapace Cross and the things in the earth. I am, after all, a snake. So, worm makes sense. Ambrose Westcott was a capacious gentleman, and he ensured the springs that in this his fortress were calibrated to bear any conceivable weight. 200 years on, the springs still do their duty. And we've got a memory of touch. Was that not the couch I should have considered? Was it this one? Other couch, got it. Also, if you want something to refer to me by, I go by both Anna and Viken. You know one of these. Hedrick de Wolf was the first Baron Brandkrug. So let's go ahead and take his bust. Let's move Valentine's here for now. Go ahead and put Henrik. Right there. Dr. Serena Blackwood. No one is in the picture. Only an empty garden. Ha! To become long is usually to cast off wormish sympathies. That makes sense. I figure Worm probably has something to do with the Carapace Cross, which... The Carapace Cross, as far as I know, are not immortal. They're, like... primeval, more accurately. They're a different type of being than the Long, most certainly. My favorite DLC for Cultist Simulator was always kind of the Dancer. What's this down the back of the cushions? A small and unexpected treasure. House folklore claims that Ambrose Westcott suffered his final apoplexy on this sofa after a particularly hasty trample up and down the stairs to argue with visiting priests. Ah, a bronze spintria. Excellent. Big distinction between history and eternity in this game. Cross and stone hours belong to history now. Well, I am an archaeologist and a snake, so I think you know where my sympathies lie. Worm is definitely the one for me. There we go. Another musician. Come to think of it, I should probably start unlocking the rest of the town as well. A mutual acquaintance has induced the Keels to invite me for a fish supper. If I'm lucky, fish supper may mean Mrs. Keel's celebrated galettes. Ooh. Yeah, Keels are 2 for 1. I remember that because in the Archaeologist playthrough, my main file, I actually started with the Keels. Mr. Keel pumps my hand. Just me and thee and the missus tonight? Well, there's a client in the back, but if thee don't bother he won't bother thee. Keel's household is now available. Considering he's a coffin maker and the whole thing with the Keels, I'm guessing that the client in question is probably dead. Yeah, of course. But yes, now we've been officially introduced to the Keel family. Memory satisfaction. Some appetites are easier to satisfy than others. Sadly, I don't have a shilling. We're going to have to stop doing stuff for a little bit and wait for the, stipend or just make more money. We go ahead and start working again. While 2 heart, 1 more heart, and another 2 heart. Do we have anything that we can use heart on? Not really. Tad unfortunate. I laid so many of those uncanny things to rest. I thought it was right. I fear now it was not. I am the librarian of Hush House, and here I will ensure that they will be remembered. We have, Valentine is the 6th Baron Brankrug. We don't know which one Walter is. Another 6 pence. And Serena Blackwood is definitely not a DeWolf. I know that much. There is a painting here with her name on it, but that, as I recall, that may or may not actually be the same person, because Serrano, or Serena Blackwood, is a common occult alias. early on in the game, you can be a little bit strapped for cash, but as I recall, that stops being true very quickly once you stop needing to constantly be getting help from people in the village. A poet. Winter, moth, and sky. Poets, they say, never do the washing up. This one hasn't brushed his hair either, but he has his uses and his talents. Let's see. He can unlock the first floor for us. He could also unlock the first floor of the Long Tower, but this is probably more important. The windows are tightly closed, the carpet's surprisingly clean, but my skin prickles at the watchful presence in the stairwell. We will need to placate it before we go higher. Ah yes, get me a man with depression. He will help me clean my arcane library. Well, apparently, the watchful thing on the stair likes it when people have depression, so... By long tradition, each Baron Brandkrug had their image set in a niche in the Grand Ascent. Later, the Curia of the Isle continued the tradition for their librarians. There we go. 6th Baron Brandkrug, a niche with a plaque, who knew cages. That's gotta be Valentine. In the sky, he saw his friends, implying, you know, birds. It also explicitly says he's the 6th Baron Brandkrug, but still. Imagine being so grim you just demolish fanaticizing entities. 7th Baroness Brandkrug, a niche with a plaque not to be crossed and not to be found. That's gotta be Ava. Ah, it's summer now. Right. In theory, we could be picking, Sea Holly, but unfortunately, don't have the skill for it yet. Walter is somewhere between 1 and 6. I unfortunately don't know which one he is. Poor percussagants that have to deal with Zachary Wakefield. Also, Walter commanded the raising of the stair. Oh. There's the midwife's assistance. As somber as Autumn, as kind as Autumn. She also likes her beer. Who was mocked more than he merited. Who was feared more than he merited. Who commanded the raising of this stair. Who saw what had not yet passed. Okay. Yeah, good point. Baron Walter's great project. So he's the one who commanded the raising of the stair. There he is. Right. Grail and Heart. Right, she'll need a bit more heart, it looks like. So, she doesn't have enough heart. How do we deal with this? Couple ways. You can consider busing going to you. I know, but I like trying to figure it all out. We can personally help out with whatever our helper is doing, which takes about 30 seconds, and will raise the relevant stats. Hopefully this is enough. I'm not actually certain that I have any other ways to give additional heart. Maybe Grail, though. We'll see. Now 3 and 3. Good. Exactly what we needed. Was it? Here it was. From what I can make out of the garden beyond, it must have been very peaceful, but now it's neglected and overgrown. Well, Mrs. Keel and I are going to work together to help get everything lovely and growing again. Appropriate for her general talents. Hey, did you know that snakes just do it better? Correct. And there we go. Physic Garden. Ask Aaron about that and his Ophidian ancestry. True. The nuns of the Knot planted this garden of healing herbs in the Dawn period. Natan of Regensburg and Gideon de Wolf both expanded it, and the Curia of the Isle tended it. Even the branch and the Bureau made use of it in the grim days that Brankrug served as a prison. Ah, right, these bells now. Picnics are a thing. And we've got some Roscragan whiskey. Lovely. We have literally just a penny to our name at the moment. Favorite tipple of Sir David Green, 8th librarian of Hush House. There's little hints about who's who everywhere. We've made our way in somewhat, and we've restored many of the gardens. Roscragan whiskey helps with Rose and Forge. I'm going to continue doing manual labor. Okay. Oh ho. Promising. Okay. Now, you would need 3 memories that have moon aspect or with edge? Guess my favorite in-game author. Might it be Arun? Perhaps. No? Then who is it? I am right about Arun being an author in game. I remember seeing some of his work, I believe. But I might be mixing him up with someone else. Definitely a man with skin. I like people with skin. Okay, so I can't currently access a lot of the books here. Among the like sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch, I forget which ones have which aspects. I can look that up, but before I do, Base, do you happen to remember if there are any of the like basic senses memories that happen to have edge or moon? Sight Light, Scent Nectar, Touch Forge, Loss Edge, and Winter. Loss, right. Throws something in the ocean. Ah. I know exactly what to do. It's gonna take a minute. And if this doesn't work, I can just grab something that's extremely minor. What would that even be at this point? If anything, probably the Lignum Vitae. Oh, wait, but I can't access the... Oh, shoot. Well, that's a bit of a problem. Okay. I can't save the memory for tomorrow. Alrighty. Still gonna give this a shot. Need moon, winter, moon or winter. Which should be... core. I don't have access to Mr. Keel yet. I don't have time to hire someone. Is there there anywhere else I can throw something in the ocean? I don't think so. Oh well. I suppose I'll just have to let the clouds pass us by for now. Thank you for your help anyways. What is this? Rose hips. That's new. I've never seen these before. These must be from House of Light. Yes. Okay, first course. Well, we don't exactly have a decent pantry just yet. But... I suppose... if I were to... move a few things. There we go. To be honest, the best use for ambergris is scent. Makes sense. Makes sense. Ah. Mods de-atomize the streamer for that one. No! Okay. Got a whole florin again. Probably over the next few days, we're going to be seeing a lot of days like this where I just work. Right up until I get my first stipend from the Curie at the end of the month. Sunny. Ah! 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 What? Who did that? Sully? Sully, did you sneak into the chat, play bad to the bone, and then leave? You dork. I'll get you for this. The next time I come into voice chat with you and Riri, I'm immediately gonna send you to shut your gob. I bet. Okay. I can't joke ban you in the stream because that actually, like, Twitch bans last longer, sadly. Discord, I could just disconnect you. Alright. Time to see who's on offer. Got another poet. He could help us out with unlocking the beach. He probably doesn't have quite enough for the second floor. But could we use something? Any of this have winter? No. I think either the beach or probably the first floor of Long Tower. Yeah, I think unlocking a second bed so I can save memories, save a different memories might be the best idea here. Or no, that's not the bed, is it? That's actually the desk, but that's also good. For different reasons. I should be... Hold on. Should still be doing manual labor. Here we go. Ah, Solomon Husher's bust. In 1818, the very Reverend Solomon Husher became third librarian of the Curia of the Isle. He took rooms in the Long Tower as his quarters. Husher's tastes were Spartan, although the Curia generally liked a little more luxury. No one ever quite dared to redecorate the place after his disappearance. Got a Curia period book. Third librarian, whereof we cannot speak, thereof we must remain silent. There you are, Solomon. You know, it sure would be a shame if a 14-foot-tall mechanized knight walked up to your front door and three other dudes, most of them bigger, popped out. I've been Lancer brained for a whole day now. Lancer's a good game. It'd be a little bit odd in this setting, though. The War of the Roads, 1451 to 1551. Willis Ford describes the War of the Roads, an event in a history other than our own, in detail. From its beginnings as a martial philosophical dispute between the dawn and sunset roads of alchemy, to a war which ravaged half of Europe. Battle bus with no seats, pulling up with the homies to reforge the sun and shit. Going to have enough time there, so instead I'm going to use my last core right here. A Pale Lady and a Prince of Wines. Okay, here's something that we might actually be able to work with. This might be the first thing that we can actually read. That is 4 moons, so do we just have to wait for a cloudy day? An anonymous biography of Ava DeWolf, last of the DeWolfs, focused rather salaciously on her personal troubles and intrigues. Perfect, a cloudy day. Exactly what we needed. Now, do I have a desk for it? Yes, Ava's desk takes moon. So, we take a Pale Lady and a Prince of Wines. It's a cloudy day. We will use our Tryst, and we will read it through the lens of Sickle and Eclipse. And that gives us exactly 4 moon. Just barely enough. Oh yeah, actually, I just realized, if base is still here, this is actually a perfect opportunity to check to see if this is working. There we go. Nice. Okay, that is working. I am going to be playing this again in the future, so if you'd like to be notified, I've got a Discord right there. Right now. Glad that the little bot thing that I set up is functional now. Right. Let's see here. Oh no, it was over here. Ava DeWolf's is engaged to one Abraham Wheelock, but he leaves her at the altar. Furious and humiliated, she returns to Brankrug and is not seen in London again. 3 days after her departure, Abraham Wheelock's body is washed up near Gravesend. His face is so badly pecked by birds that he is only identified by his belongings. These include a waxed pouch containing a letter addressed to Wheelock, whose contents seem to show he is a spy in the pay of the Austrians. Subsequent investigations suggest that the letter is a forgery, but the matter remains obscure. Lord Franklin Bancroft, sometimes called the Prince of Wines, begins a series of visits to Brankrug House. His relationship with Ava becomes a source of scandal. Ava is by now 49, but rumors persist for years of a De Wolf Bancroft heir. Ava's biographer claims that before her drowning death, her child by Bancroft was adopted by her friends the Southies, that the child became the sister of the late poet laureate Robert Southey. No real evidence is provided in support of this claim. Got a lesson for sea stories, which we will immediately consider. And a memory of salt. Which means that on the next cloudy day, I can actually upgrade Sickle and Eclipse again. Thank you, A Pale Lady and a Prince of Wines. This is a really good early game book. That said, as soon as I finish it right here, and as soon as we go on to the next season, it is almost midnight. And I have been streaming for about 3 hours. I would have liked to have streamed this more, but I should probably be getting to bed, and I'm sure my audience would like to as well. Let's say as soon as we hit autumn, I will end the stream. Said, I will take a moment, and I think I will slot Sea Stories into Nyctodramy. The Lygian Morgan, holder of the key of Black Sapphire, called Seaborn, tide-drawn, did she come from east behind the wave? If we speak her name at the rising of the moon, can we summon that old song of flutes and bells? These are birdsong riddles. The Lygian Rowena, holder of the Mayor's Key, called Sea Opener, Wolfwife. Whom did she invite from yeast behind the wave? When the moon sets across the sea, will they follow its road again? This matter of roads and keys is Nyctodramy. Yeah, instead of having a third core, I would prefer a shaft. Righto. And there we have it. Yeah. It should be the last day of spring. Oh, hello. An advertisement from Cater and Hero. Oh dear, hold on. Oh! Welcome to the Discord. Well, I don't know about anyone else, but I love Brontosauropede. They're a good lad. From Cater and Hero, alive to the possibility of commerce, has sent a spongily printed catalog addressed to the Librarian. Cater and Hero has offices almost everywhere. Not in this misty limb of the kingdom, but they will at least deliver here. This is how we shop for goods and services. We use mail-order catalogs, like anyone on a far-off, remote island. It's a rainy day. It's now officially the first day of autumn, but I will at least go through this stuff that's happening right now, because I want to get that taken care of. Righto. Let's go ahead and tryst it up. Gonna oil paint Brontosauropede. Do it and post it in the server. The Affair of the... What do we got here? The Affair of Apollo and Marsyas. An upcoming production of an opera with a very ancient pedigree indeed. Ooh. Magister Hokobald. We have a visitor. Let's see. What a grim and chilly little country. I hope we prepared a suitable welcome. There will be a production in Paris of an opera that celebrates the Grail. I've decided to offer suitable gifts to the performers. Okay. They have interested in Grail 3. Do we have one of those? I think we do. Yeah, I think that... Yeah, an impertinent vitulation should work. It's not in any particular language. What does he speak? He speaks Aramaic, Phrygian, Latin, Greek, Deep Mandaic. He knows a lot of languages. Metallurgist, gourmet, corrupted immortal, and supposedly a long-ago king's byblow. Alrighty, let's see here. I would like to determine which gifts will be most in keeping with the opera's subject matter. Of course, Magister. Here you go. An impertinent vitulation should be the book you need. Delicious! I can be certain now of a generous and memorable feast. You might yet prove more useful than your predecessors. I'll take that as a compliment, Magister. Hills and Reverend Timmy hate Hokobald. I don't doubt it, but actually, how do you... I was about to say, how do you figure that out, but I just realized it's probably due to the salon system. If you invite them, they probably won't show up together. So yeah, he's unfortunate. He is not popular here, which, I mean, he seems like a bit of a blowhard, so to speak. Got a consulting engineer. Oh, I need to wait to actually speak with her. But Forge, Sky, and Lantern. Denzel does not tolerate Morgan. Could get the Long Tower's second floor with Lantern. Smoking room with Forge. The dimly lit chamber with Lantern. Those would be 5s. I think the Long Tower is the best bet right now. Luckily, we don't have to have actually read the books that we're handing out to people. Which is a tad bit irresponsible, but get off my back. I haven't figured out enough Grail lore yet. And that got us another bronze Spintria, making a silver Spintria, which, appropriately, is the one that shows people fucking. Right. Let's go ahead and hire the engineer. Actually, though, wait. If I were to use metal and collaborate... Perfect. Actually, that helps out in a different way. Boner coin. Right. Let's collaborate, and a tarnished brass sign on the door clearly reads Smoking Room. Rags of very old smoke sway restlessly, hazing the room beyond, what remains of the protections von Loren once placed on it. And yet still no sign of a fire. And we've got the smoking room. Oh, one more secret? Let's hear it. Maybe consider the Mansus? No, left side of bookshelves. Oh ho! What is this? Black Dove Wine! A bottle of extraordinary age, a modest slosh of dark, heavily sedimented liquid behind the grimy glass. Just how old is this? Might it still be drinkable? This wine cannot be served into glasses. Drink it, gift it, or keep it. Yeah, that seems unique. That's a lot of good principles. We'll just finish up. Last bits here. And as soon as we hit morning, we're going to both do a manual save. Then save and quit. There we go. Well, that was an excellent session of Book of Hours. I feel myself slipping right back into the rhythms of the game. It's got such a good atmosphere, and we made a new friend today. Thank you so much for coming, Base, and for being active in chat. That was a lot of fun, and you've been absolutely great. Thank you. Thank you everyone who came along. And I will see you again some other time. Let me see if I can find someone to raid. Sure. What's up there? Looks like a shine. It looks like another snake is playing Abiotic Factor. So we are going to raid into a shy moth. Righto. Well, it was great having you all. Thank you so much for coming. I had a lot of fun. And I will see you next time. Raid shy moth. Bye-bye. Go, and 3, 2, 1. Raid.